Hello everyone, welcome to another online SCL learning video with me, Paul. Today's session we are going to be looking at doubling and halving. So a little bit of maths in today's session. I will try and make it as interactive and as fun as possible, and there's a game at the end that you can play that will help you with your understanding of this topic. But before we get started with all of that, you know me by now. I love puzzles. I love brain teasers. I like anything that can get our brains active and ready to learn. So I have one of my classic brain teasers for you all. I know how much you all love them by now. So I'm going to give you 5 seconds, just 5 seconds to try and solve this brain teaser. So I'm going to count down, show you the image, and see if you can solve what it is asking. Then, if I'm nice after the 5 seconds, I might give you a little bit longer. But this is all about speed. So can we identify the problem? Can you spot the mistake in this puzzle? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and stop. If you spotted the mistake, hint, hint, well done. Pat on the back, you are super duper clever. If you didn't, have another look. And yeah, I'll give you a clue because I'm nice. Now, can you spot, wink wink, the mistake in this puzzle? So a second clue, if you still haven't found it, don't know how, is the mistake isn't in the numbers. The numbers are fine. The number 1 to 9, and it's nothing to do with the colour of the number. The mistake is in the question. If you spotted the mistake, you will see that the word spot is written twice. So can you spot a mistake here? Now the reason I put these on all of my presentation, guys, is because this type of thinking really helps with everything else that you do. So it's not just there for a bit of fun, even though it is fun to try all these new things. If you do puzzles like this, it will really help you with every other subject because it gets you thinking. And that's the important thing, being able to look at something, think about what's being asked and try and work out an answer. So I'll always encourage you to do something like this. Even though it's fun, it will actually help you with your learning of every subject that you do in school. Okay, so today's session, doubling and halving. We're going to start with doubling first. So what is doubling? Do you know? Doubling is simply when we have a number and we add the same amount to it to give us a new total. So for example, if I had the number 2 and I wanted to double it, I would take the number 2, just like it's shown here, 2 dots, and I would add the same to it, just like that. So I started with 2, I've placed another 2 dots next to it, therefore I've doubled that number. So we say double 2 is 4. So for this session, as we move on, we're going to do doubles and halves using dominoes. If you have dominoes, amazing. Go and find them now, pause the video and set them up. If you haven't got dominoes, you can do it with a pen and paper. So I would like you to draw a blank set of domino cards. Now you'll need about 10 of these. So pause the video and draw out 10. Now they don't have to be coloured in black and have white dots put on them. I'm not expecting anything of that level. You can simply just on your paper draw a rectangle like you can see on the screen and just draw a line down the middle so you're splitting that rectangle into 2 halves. And as we go on throughout the lesson, I'll show you how we use each half to help us with our doubles and our halves. So draw those out now. You can either draw them as we go onto each question, or you can pause the video now and draw a whole set of domino cards. Like I say, you'll need about 10 for today's session. So if we had a question that said, what is double 3? Here's how we use our dominoes. we take our first side of our domino and we draw 3 dots. So I'd like you to do that now. Take your first set of domino cards and on one side of that domino, put 3 dots. So you should now have something that looks like this. 3 dots on one side and blank the other. So what I'd like you to do now is double the number 3. So put 3 dots on the other side of the domino. And tell me what answer you get. So now we should have something that looks like this. So the answer to double 3 is 6. And that's how we can use our dominoes to work out most doubles. So very well done if you got that. Okay, so what is double 4? Same process. We take our new domino card and we put 4 dots. So do that now for me. Put your 4 dots on your domino card. So you should have something that looks like this. 4 dots on one side, blank on the other. So now what I'd like you to do is draw another 4 dots. So you're doubling the amount of dots on your domino. So you should have something that looks like this. Then all we do is we count up our total number of dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So double 4 is 8. So how about double 5? Again, we take one side of our domino and we draw 5 dots. I think you know what's coming now, don't you? So on the other side, draw another 5 dots. So we should have something that looks like this. Again, let's just count up all our dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So double 5 is 10. But what if we have bigger numbers? So we have a number that is bigger than 5 or 6 or 7. What if we had double 10? Here's how we can use our dominoes to help us figure these type of numbers out. So all you would need to do is with the last domino you've just used, where we looked at double 5 to make 10, we would do that and then simply take a new domino card and copy what we've got. So we've already got 10 and now we do the same again. We draw 10 dots and then we count up the total number of dots. So we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So double 10 is 20. So you can see how we can use something as simple as dominoes to help us understand how we double our numbers. And the more we do it, the easier it becomes. So what I'd like you to do now is see if you can work out the following doubles. So I'm going to show you some numbers and I want you to try and work out the double. So we have 8, 7, 6, 12 and 20. So see if you can work out double of each of those numbers. And another little cool method you can use if you don't want to use your dominoes, if you have things like Lego blocks or any type of building blocks in your home, you can use those to build a tower. So for example, if we took the first one, 8, you would take your blocks and you would stack 8 blocks up on top of each other. Then to double it, you would take another 8 blocks and stack them on the top, and then count how many blocks you've got all together, and that'll give you your total. And then after that, you can smash it down. So pause this video now and see if we can work out doubles for those 5 questions. So now we'll move on to halving. So what does it mean when we halve a number? So it's essentially the opposite of doubling a number. So what we did before, we're just going to do the opposite. So we're taking away half of the total amount. So if our example was half of 2, find half of the number 2. I can use my dominoes again. So I would draw my total number, which is 2. And then instead of adding numbers to it like I did last time, I'm just going to cover half of that domino up, just like this. So we can see what we're left with is 1 dot. So half of 2 equals 1. So can we figure out what is half of 4? So we'll go through this one together. So with a fresh domino, I'd like you to have 4 dots. So make your domino and make sure there are 4 dots. And then you can use a separate sheet of paper, you can use your hand, anything, and what I want you to do is cover half of that domino. So cover 2 of the spots to look like this. And then how many spots are we left with? Of course, it's 2. So half of 4 becomes 2. Okay, half of 6 now. So again, draw your dots on your domino. And then cover up one side of that domino. So do this with me. How many are we left with? Brilliant. So half of 6 is 3. Now, the same thing as last time. Can you work out half of the following numbers? So 10, 16, 8, 12, and 20. So can you figure out a way of halving each of these numbers? So again, pause this video now. Have a go at answering these questions. Okay, game time. This is something you can do at home yourselves. We're not going to play it here because it'll be a little bit tricky for us to play, but this is something you can do, set up in a couple of minutes, and it's a great way to help you learn halves and doubles, and it's also a good memory game as well. So I want you to cut out 15 blank squares. So on a piece of paper, just draw out some squares, 15 of them, and write the following numbers, 1 per square. So one square, write the number 1, on another square, write the number 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. So there are 15 numbers there. I would like you to write each of those numbers on one of the squares. So this is like a game of pairs. So then once you've written all the numbers, you're going to place the cards face down in random order. That means you can't see the numbers. So you're going to put them down, you're going to mix them all up so you don't know which number is where. And then each player takes a turn to turn over 2 cards at a time. So if you pick out 2 cards that are double or half, you get to keep those cards. So for example, if it was my go and I turned over the number 2 and the number 4, that means I could keep those cards because double 2 is 4 and half of 4 is 2. So I would keep those 2 cards with me because I've won those cards. And the player with the most cards at the end of the game, when all the cards have gone, is the winner. So try that game. There's no limit of these numbers. You can find a lot of these type of games online. If you just put in doubling and halving maths games, so many games come up. You can do a snakes and ladders game, which is really cool. So I really recommend you go and have a go at those. And as always, thank you for joining us in these online sessions. We really love doing them. We're going to carry on doing them just to make sure your education is still running as it should be running. And I will see you all pretty soon. Stay safe, stay happy, keep having fun, keep being active, and we'll call it quits there. Bye bye. Speak to you soon.